All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SEO Live Support. We are your favorite SEO live stream in the world. How are you doing today, Nicholas Altamore?
I'm good. A little tired, but a little less tired than last week. I've been waking up earlier. Not quite this early, but yeah, feeling good. Feeling pretty good. Ready to teach some people out there about the viability of making SEO your new business. Come on down, get started. It's a lot of fun. No headaches here. If you've
I
been in SEO a while, you get it.
For sure.
So,
Um, yeah, a little bit crazy time, but also feel like not that crazy. I mean, unless you're in the content site game, then kind of crazy, which I guess a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people are because
Yeah, things
that's
have
one of the big draws to SEO anyway, right? That no boss kind of
yeah.
ideal.
Things have chilled out in the SERPs over the last few months, comparative to end of last year at least. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
no
always
big
nice.
news, no big news lately. A
No.
little bit of a lull as far as new stuff coming out. I feel like YouTube views in general for SEO related topics have kind of like trended down a little bit. There's just not that much happening. No news on HCU kind of stuff. No new updates. AI has kind of plateaued. Everyone knows you can spam your sites with AI. There's nothing new happening. Everyone knows what Parasite is. There's just nothing really new happening. It's all kind of like the same old right now.
Yeah,
Um,
in SEO world for sure. Dude, I just since you said it, I did find one new SEO thing yesterday that I thought was really interesting, and I do want to pull it up for maybe some of you noobs out there that are looking, you're all over the internet, you want to make it work, you want to work for yourself. Um, here was a funny one that I ran into yesterday. So there's a website. So typically with AI, we're used to using AI to get some of our tasks done, especially in SEO. I mean,
yeah,
Chris and
that's
I
what I use it
use
for.
SEO all the time. Well, now there's a website you can go to where AI will give you a task to do for payment. So there's certain things that AI cannot do in the world that it needs a human touch, maybe passing captchas, doing things like that. So you can go to a website where AI with a budget attached to it can hire humans to do work for it.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the beginning and the end for
It's the
sure.
beginning. Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
How do you
paymanai.com.
spell it?
Payman, Payman,
Dot AI.
or no, AI.com.
Let's go ahead and pull that up so people look at
And
some.
so while this is like in intro stages, it's kind of funny to contemplate, right? But imagine in another 5 years, or like once we get quantum computing or something like that, where this really starts running fucking wild. I wonder how many people are going to be going to places like this, resources like this to, earn some semblance of a living. Pretty, pretty weird times, you
Definitely a
know?
little creepy. I like their
Mhm.
website though.
No, it's nice. All of it, because a lot of the stuff, this guy does deep dives into random web pages that are out there that you can, very random. Some like very deep in dark web, yada yada.
Mhm.
He's the same guy that downloaded the AI dark web robot, or
Mhm.
he put it into a robot. So he's got it like a pet, and it tells him like do different tasks, and he doesn't understand the purpose really. He just does it. Yeah, fun little sagas over there. Thunder Keck is the guy's name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Getting weird.
that's different. All right, guys. Yeah, if you got any SEO questions at all, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Doesn't matter if you think it's a beginner question, advanced question, whatever. Link building, on-site. We're here for the next hour or so to answer any questions you guys. Go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we will get to your question as soon as possible. Um, let's go ahead and start pulling some stuff from the group we can answer. I'm going to try to do a 301. My question is, even for whatever reason, if it doesn't work, can it penalize my site or affect my site negatively? I just don't want my site to be hit, as I don't mind just keeping up link building, but keen to do the 301 to speed it up. For context, website A is machinery hire website. This is the one we looked at before, by the way, Nick,
Okay, I
which has
remember.
14 month of link building, which could do 301 to a commercial construction company, brand new website. Basically pivot our business to more general construction company and no longer need the old domain. So yeah, it basically wants to know if for whatever reason Google thinks this is not like a relevant 301 or it doesn't match or whatever, can it somehow hurt him or penalize him? What do you think?
I wouldn't say it's going to penalize you, but it could hurt your rankings. Testing 301s is going to include, going through stages of volatility. That's why we stress over here, try and get something that is as close to your niche as possible. It's going to help with that quite a bit. And then also, doing things like 301ing an expired domain versus a age domain that's indexed is going to add to that as
Well,
well.
this one's definitely indexed
Yeah.
and yeah, like still
So,
live.
you know, what I would do is I would carefully comb everything, make sure that from what I'm looking at, I combing the backlinks, looking to see how relevant everything is, the quality of these links, etc. Is it a good option? It sounds like you've probably done this. And if it is, go ahead and 301 it. You might go through some volatility. Expect, to just set it and forget it for the next 2 to 3 months and just kind of watch what's going on in the SERPs. I would continue on campaigns per usual. A lot of people with 301s, they think, oh, well, I'm just going to do this and then I'll just shoot up through the SERPs. No, you've got to keep content going. You've got to keep a backlink campaign going. What's natural when a business takes over another business, which is essentially what you're emulating when you do a 301? Uh, it's the business as usual. Everything keeps going. We've taken over this business, we're integrating it, etc. But everything within the business is going to keep going. So that's backlinks and content going through the site, etc. Um, if you get a heavy spike down, don't freak out over 2, 3 days. Watch it, and if a week later you're still quote penalized, then go ahead and take it off. Or even a week seems too early. 2, 3 weeks, something like that. So you might have to weather a little bit of a storm before the next leg up. These are tricks that over time, of course, Google is going to kind of play you that way to stop people from manipulating their algorithm.
Yeah, I've
So
never heard like a 301 penalty. I've heard of things going down,
no.
but then you kind of just remove it and it's fine, but also not
Yeah.
super 301 expert myself. That sounds about right.
Yeah, the only time you might get an extended penalty is if you're doing this with a site that hasn't been established, right? So it looks very manipulative right out of the gate. We know for a fact because we've been working on this site for years now, right? Like, I mean, first time we ever saw this
Um,
site had to be at least a year ago, I think.
I think the first site was in our managed link building for I'd probably say at least I can't remember if they were like in and then like dropped out after a while, but they were in at least for at least like 3 to 6 months or so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, you guys have been around for a while. We know that the 301, because I think we did it last week, was a viable option from what we said. It was at least like overall construction niche. So
Yeah, and plus
I'd
it's
say
like
go ahead, go for it.
it's actually their old business. It's like our business with
Okay,
changing our
then yeah,
business. Yeah.
100% keep it. Yeah,
Yeah, so I would say do it. And it's a new website anyway, so it's like what do you really, even if it was possible to get it through one penalty, it's really not like you have much to lose on a fresh website, right?
yeah,
So, 301 it over, give it some time, see what happens. I would get some content on the site first so that you could really try to measure the effects, right? I don't know like how much content you got on the new site, but you want to see it like working, right? But anyway, I mean, I guess you'd be able to see anyway if you just added some content later because it would start ranking pretty quickly, a lot quicker than a new site. But don't really know what kind of experience this person has. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it at all, man. I would say you're good to go.
yeah.
And then yeah, like next, I mean, whatever. I was just gonna say, if it just like even if things don't go down, if things kind of like stagnate or it seems like things just like won't move at all, then um, maybe something kind of weird going on, right?
Yeah, but I mean, would you pull it off then, or just leave it? You know, leave it and
Um,
then hope the next algo update sends you through the roof,
Good, yeah,
or not.
or not. Um, let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got any questions in the chat? What's up, Black Sloth? Black Hole Super Sloth. I just call you Black Sloth. Okay, that's close enough.
Hey, welcome back. One of my favorite names.
Black Sloth makes his rounds in the SEO community. He's an avid SEO live stream
He
watcher.
must he must have noticed that we've both been working out real
You been
hard.
back in the gym?
Yeah, definitely. Feels
You going to the
amazing.
gym or home gym?
No, Jim. Yeah.
Nice. I have 50 websites in one niche. How to distribute links to rank one website. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like you want to use them as a PBN. Um, yeah, I
Oh,
mean, send links to your one website from them. But Nick, I'll let Nick go into more detail on this one because Nick is our resident PBN expert here.
well, but see, I'm reading the question differently, and I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, he's got 50 money sites that he's trying to distribute link budget to rank one of
I
them.
have 50 websites in one niche. How to distribute links to rank one of the websites.
Which, if this is what you're doing, my advice to you would be focus on one website. And if you're asking this question, I feel like that's probably sage advice. It sounds like a little bit newer question. A lot of times, as newer people in SEO, we eat with our eyes and start thinking, well, if I own 50 websites, I'll be able to rank them all and I'll control all the SERPs for the entire niche and I will be the one conglomerate to rule them all. Um, yeah, it's easier and definitely much easier to spread out budget, consider different variables going into your project, etc. if you are focused on ranking one website within the niche. After you get that thing up profitable and you've really exhausted resources to it and you're kind of plateauing, then maybe consider building another website alongside that. Or if you've got just
But
giant
wait.
budgets,
I don't get it. So
maybe.
he says he has 50 websites.
Yeah, he bought 50
Yeah.
websites for plumbers, let's say,
Uh-huh.
and he wants to rank all, or well, one of them, I guess, initially. How does he distribute his link budget across them?
I have no idea, man. I'm lost on this one. I'll
You,
just let you.
wait,
I thought he
okay,
was asking it
but
more like
he's
a
got he's
PBN.
got
He
50
says he just wants to
websites in
rank
his
one of them.
registrar. Yeah, he wants to rank 1 out of 50. How does he distribute links properly to get one ranking out of
Send
all
them all to
50
the
of them?
one, send all the links to one website.
To one of them. Yeah, yeah. And if it is the PBN question, then the only thing I would say is, you know, be careful with your footprints. We've got a guide on that. Type in PBN footprints or links a lot. You should be able to download something. Um, and then, you know, probably don't just send 49 PBN links to the one website and then do nothing else. It probably won't, work out too well for you. And then again, if you're doing stuff like that, it's highly manipulative using PBNs. Remember, when your PBN gets de-indexed, especially a series of like 49 sites, you've lost a insane amount of money, time, effort, etc. So a lot of times, if you're going for the gold with a PBN, I say split that budget up across some other high-end style links like guest posts and niche
What if you just
edits.
bought like 50 domains? Like if you
Well,
just
that's
bought
what I
50 domains like without any links going to them, so it's like a
yeah.
PBN but with no power.
I would think it's what the question sounds like is something like that. It's like, don't. That's why I'm just focusing on,
Gotcha.
noob style is like, don't do that.
Yeah,
Pick one
yeah.
site.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pick one site, learn how to build links. Don't try to build a PBN yet. PBN is going to be a lot of work and money and time, and a lot of it's confusing and difficult and hard compared to a lot of other stuff. Like it's easy to send outreach emails, right? You just send emails to people and you get links, and it's not nearly as complicated as, having a 50 website PBN to maintain with content, footprints, hosting, monthly payments, powering all these PBNs up. Like that's a lot of work, especially if they're fresh domains. Anything else on
Yeah.
that one, Nick?
Nope. Black Hole had something to say. He said, "Back to the drawing board, bud. What WTF are you doing?"
Yeah, I saw a post by Nathan Gotch, obviously a well-respected SEO recently. It was like basically he's like forget about advanced SEO tactics if you like haven't mastered the basics. Like literally just forget about it.
Yeah.
And this is what everyone wants to do because everyone wants, they want to get in, they want to save money, they want to say. I mean, I guess that's how we got into it too, though. So it's all, whenever we talk about this, it's hard to like knock them because it's kind of how we got into SEO as well. More like black hat kind of style. Um,
But
but
at the
yeah,
time, there
but I
was
feel like most
nobody
people are
telling
not
me
successful
not to
doing
do
it.
it.
True.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, we've said it before, but focusing on something like ads or some of the simple stuff would have been much easier than focusing on PBN right out of the gate.
For
That was
sure.
a much slower roll to money than any number of things that I could look back on and say, hey, I should have done that. But hindsight is 2020.
For sure. For sure. All right. Any questions, boys and girls? Go ahead and drop them in the chat. Trying to find our comments and stuff I need to answer for people. One second. Oh, another PBN question. When you say used in moderation, how many PBNs can we use per website or per month? A lot of PBN questions lately.
That's
So
interesting.
So yeah, we prefer to make PBNs make up a very small portion of our backlink profile. Um, they're a powerful tool, but they're also one of the riskiest tools, especially if you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then I feel like the risk goes down very low. That's to where there's pretty much no risk at all compared to just any other SEO tactic. But that's when you're doing stuff like link diversity, anchor text diversity, target URL diversity. You know what it actually feels like to make a natural, diversified backlink profile, which can include some strange stuff in it. For example, PBNs, which are quite strange. It's not normal to get links from other sites' homepages. It's very strong to get a link from a site's homepage, but it's not normal. So you have to make sure you're doing all the other stuff correctly and you're not setting a lot of these things, right? Nick, in general, I know you're probably not gonna have an answer to this, but if you could ballpark it, what like percentage of your backlink profile would you say you would use like as PBN links? So let's say you had 100 referring domains, and and it's not including like foundational links. It doesn't include like
Yeah.
directories, uh, social profiles, all this shit, citations. It's just like guest post link insertions and Haro kind of stuff like that, and then like PBN. Like what percentage of your link profile would PBN make up?
Less than 10% for sure.
I normally
And
say
and
less than
probably more
5%,
like
but
5%.
yeah,
Yeah. It's kind of minimum. And then, over the years it's been more using them naturally. So homepage, natural anchors, things like that versus trying to aggressively like rank inner pages. Just simply because it's not very natural for a contextual homepage link to say best plumber in Austin, Texas, and then point back. It just makes more sense to have something that says something like Paul's Plumbing, right? Going back to the homepage of a site, but definitely minimum. I'm wondering if we're not getting a lot of questions just due to the fact that we've got a sale going on with our PBN too. If you
true.
guys haven't
10%
tried
off
that,
PBN
it's
links
worth a
this month.
try.
Code
Yeah.
PB12. Sale lasts another 1 week, I think. Yeah, 1 week
Mhm.
more.
We've got PBN that's unlike anybody else's. We've got niche edits on existing pages, guest posts on there, contextual homepage backlinks.
Rental, yeah.
Yeah, so very versatile set of links over there.
But yeah, if you just be safe, don't do anything crazy. Recommend staying around like 5% of your link profile or less as PBNs. When you do use them, we like to send them a lot just to our homepage a lot instead of like slamming inner pages with them. You can do it, but And, like keeping the anchor text pretty natural as well, just because you're already dealing with a pretty unnatural type of link. It's a homepage link, so you don't want to make it more unnatural by doing like weird exact match anchors and just slamming the same pages with them. A bunch of like exact match anchors on highly unnatural links. It's just like a very clear like, what are you doing, bro, kind of situation. Um, but yeah, always easier to buy from a network rather than doing your own. However, can't say, having your own private PBN, especially if you're doing it on like a per site basis, like if you have like a private PBN for like one project, it can be a very powerful thing, but you know, that's a good amount of money and time and know-how as well to set something like that up, maintain it, keep it running over time. Anything else out on that one, Nick?
No, not really.
Um, Surrender ready. Are those domains, are they fresh or are they like expired or age domains or whatever? Like what are those 50 websites? Did you just like buy the domains? Are they fresh or what? Um, Thoughts on entering niches that are not super popular like hunting safaris? Yeah, so the thing about entering niches is that if you can find a niche that's not super popular, but the money is there, then your ROI on something like this can be like insane, right? Like if you can find a good niche that you can actually make money with, that's not popular with SEO people, it can be awesome. And for a lot of stuff, depending on like what the price point is, like what kind of money people are throwing around, for something like a hunting safari, um, price is going to be quite high. So, potential, maybe the search volume isn't insane. I don't know if you're talking about popularity with like SEO or popularity with like search volume. But like if it's like a search volume thing, but then you have a high ticket item like a Safari, you can still make good money, right? Um, I was, Greg from OMG started his own YouTube recently. And so I've been watching his videos every now and then. And he was talking about, forget what niche he was in, but it's like some like kind of like finance thing. And it was like, the search volumes were like super low, like under 100 for like the main like keywords. But it was essentially like people would transfer like their entire bank account over into like a separate type of bank account, like a separate investment account or something. So like they're moving huge amounts of money. So like the sale prices for these things are like insane. So it's like, he made one affiliate conversion, and it paid like 75K,
Nuts.
right?
That's so badass.
I
Yeah.
know. That's like the actual dream. But then it's like months
Yeah.
and months and months of like nothing, right? It's like no sales, no
Yeah.
sales, no sales. And then it's just like boom, payday.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, it doesn't have to be super popular. And super popular can be great for competition, right? But you just got to feel out and make sure that the money is there. So it could take some additional investigating because there probably aren't that many people that have like laid the groundwork for you, right? Like normally when you enter in a niche, you can kind of poke around and you can see like all the offers that people are kind of currently offering, like what things are like the most popular, stuff like that. So it can be a little bit more difficult, but it could be super worth it for sure. What do you think, Nick?
I think, yeah, 100% spot on. And I think that it would be good for a lot of people, especially if they're newer and they're watching this, try and find one of these niches. A lot of times, too, consider your sphere of influence and what somebody that you know is into, or somebody that's close to you is doing that's kind of obscure, but they're making money off it. Then you can do keyword research for them and look into them. I remember looking into artificial insemination of different animals at one point in time, simply because my sister worked in animal production sciences, and I realized that some of these things involved in these processes are worth quite a lot of money. Real obscure stuff like that. If you find some cadence in that niche as the SEO to go to for these things, you could stand to make quite a lot of money. Um, there's all sorts of strange niches that you can break into where there's not a single SEO looking.
Those are the best
Um,
ones. They're just
yeah,
hard to
for
find
sure.
and no one's going to talk
Yeah.
about them.
And then sometimes they're a little harder to automate, right? Like I remember seeing this one guy that had a huge, and I mean, the website wasn't all that nice or anything, but like teacup pigs, like the little ones,
Hmm.
I guess their family was involved in raising those things. but they had a line to it, and through a basic website, they helped exponentially increase the amount of teacup kit pigs that were being sold. So yeah, all sorts of little things like that. But look for them. You can find a gold mine if you find the right stuff.
Awesome.
And it's easier than competing with, you know, Amazon affiliates, things like that, right?
For sure. All right. Really enjoy your live streams. How do you efficiently build links for local businesses? Is it just researching blogs and pitching guest posts and niche edits? What would an SEO agency do? Yeah, so I'm not like really big on local SEO, but first of all, you want to do all your foundational type stuff, like citations, social profiles. You can even do like a little press release, something like that. Um, yeah, just like we call it pillow linking. You can either do it yourself or you can go to a website. You can go to our check out our agency. We sell these packs. They're like pillow links. I think are like $70. Then we have diversity links like 150 bucks, and it's like 30 links per pack, and then the other one's 20 links per pack. Anyway, you're gonna do all your foundational link building, and then basically you're from there you're moving on to other stuff like guest post link insertions. Depending on the competition and the niche, you really might not need like a ton of these things. In general, for local websites, I'm actually in the camp of not having like this big blog like with informational content on a local site. What do you think about that, Nick? Like I'm not big on local, but I don't like attaching these blogs with a ton of informational content on them on a local site. So I feel like it's super unnatural. And I'd rather do like they make posts that are like both niche and local relevant, but not like it wouldn't be a cleaner as like how to clean carpet, kind of blog post. What do you think about that?
I
Kind of
say
get a little off topic, but
I'm a bit on the opposite, honestly. Yeah, I do build out the topical map for both local and related stuff. So, like, if it is a cleaner, I'm gonna have cleaning and local related content um, for both things.
anyway, I was just
Which,
asking because it was like talking about like link building, right? So it's like,
yeah.
I prefer building a lot of links like just to like the home page or like just the pages that make sense on the website, especially when you're talking about if the competition's like quite low, right? And then, you could also what for local, like I said, I don't do a lot of local, but I think if I did do local, what I would go around is I would go find a bunch of competitors, but then I would also look in other niches and look for I would basically like scrape their backlink profiles and look for where they're getting local links from. It can come from like sponsorships in the community, it can come from like little like news publications, stuff like that. I would try to get some local links on top of like the regular like guest post or link insertion type stuff. Um, and then, you could think about like doing something like your what's that called? The Chamber of Commerce type thing. Or like reaching out to just different people in your community trying to get these like local type links. What do you do for local, Nick?
Honestly, I was gonna say, especially if you're newer and you're asking this question, don't overcomplicate things. So yeah, it is good to go in, see what your competitors are getting, see if you can get some of those very relevant, especially geographic links. In a small
Yeah,
metro, it might be harder to get them, right? Chamber of Commerce, BBB, things like that, you can pay for, but they're pretty damn
they're
expensive
expensive.
in relation. And what I've found over, the years is that
Worth it or not worth it?
sometimes it's worth it if your
If
client
everyone
wants
else has
that
it,
link.
maybe.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't buy them anymore. I found that just doing guest posts, niche edits after you're done doing your pillowing, you've got your citations, all that stuff. You make sure that, especially for local, your NAP, name, address, and phone number are all the exact same across all of these different citations. Um, are accurate. Then niche edits and guest posts are going to go in there, and you can beat out a lot of competition just by brute force. You've got to consider too, a lot of these local websites are going to these local agencies where they are getting ripped off for 1,000 word articles that are not SEO optimized. They don't even know how to optimize content for SEO using something like Surfer, Pop, etc. And then, quality backlinks, and each had its guest posts. Natural anchors. I do like what you said about just going to the homepage with natural anchors for local projects. I mean, I'm typically always doing that with maybe like 10 to 20% inner page exact match
I just
anchors.
feel like
And that
especially with
doesn't come till
local,
like month 4 or 5. Oh, yeah, for sure. You can
like
just hammer that homepage. The point with the information article is not necessarily to get those ranked up competing against like affiliate websites and stuff,
just
but it's just to be
topical.
better than your competition, right?
Yeah.
In that local metro, because that's going to play as well. The topical map might not rank against the highest competitors in the nation, but they will in your geographic region when you're looking for the map pack, et cetera, right? So, yeah, nothing really too different other than citations and making sure NAP and stuff like that are
Yeah. So yeah,
correct.
homepage heavy, natural anchors. And then yeah, you could like scrape around, just see like what some of your competitors are doing as far as like getting like those local kind of geographic links because you want to get do some of that as well. I heard posting blogs on the website is important for SEO. I use Wix, not sure if it makes a difference. What, but what does a good piece of content look like that can rank or happily help naturally boost site SEO? So yeah, this is a really big question, which is essentially like how to do like half of SEO, which is content. Half of SEO is basically content, and the other half is essentially backlinks. So I guess let's just go one by one here. So as far as Wix, if you're not too far along your journey, I would suggest going over to WordPress instead, just because it's going to make your life easier in the long run. It'll be kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off in the beginning.
Hmm.
As far as just moving over, it's going to take a bunch of time. It's going to suck. But if you do everything properly, in the long run, it'll end up being a lot better because it'll make your life easier.
Yeah,
Um,
or just hire somebody on Fiverr. They can do that for you quick. Content transfer
sure.
to a WordPress website, give me some basic functionality, and then, get moving from there. But
Yeah, if you want a
yeah,
theme, I'd recommend just going like Elementor.
yeah,
You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Elementor just got a ton of support behind it. It's just probably the most popular one.
for sure.
Um, what does a good piece of content look like? So yeah, for a good piece of content, the first thing the most important thing is just starting with your keyword research, right? So first of all, does the content make sense to be posted on your website, right? Um, so just like what is your niche? Like if you're like a plumber, whatever, let's say you're posting like plumbing content, um, just make sure it's like, relevant to what your business model is, and then doing your proper keyword research, finding the search intent of the keyword. So, like when you type that keyword into Google, what types of content are they showing? And there can actually be like different types of search intent showing, and you have to pick which one kind of like matches your business. So, like an example of this could be, for example, if you type like best plumber Houston, some of them might be showing like actual like the plumber's like service page, like landing page, or maybe even their homepage. And then some might actually be lists of like the best plumbers. So for you, if you're a plumbing company, then of course you'd want to send them to a landing page and not make the list page. Same thing with like affiliate content. It might do like a list versus like just talk about like one product or whatever. Just anyway, there can be different kinds of search intent. Make sure you're matching the one that makes most sense to your business model and do that. And then highly recommend using a tool like Surfer SEO or Neuron Writer. If you, especially if you're new to SEO, or even if you're not new to SEO, just because they give you a lot of suggestions as far as like what kind of topics you should be talking about, what kind of keyword like you should be using in your content. And don't worry too much about your score. Just, try to get so it's like in the green a little bit. I think on Surfer that's like a 70 or so. You don't have to make these things perfect. It's generally just making sure you're like on the right path and covering like the topics and using a lot of the language that gets used ends up using. So, like, don't look at it like a math equation where the higher score you get, you're going to rank better. It doesn't work like that. Um, I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. What do you got, Nick?
I know you said neuron writer, and then I spaced out a little bit, but I don't think you mentioned.
Serper.
Yeah, with quote good content, let's also remember to think like SEOs and not just like human beings. So we're speaking to crawlers; they are mathematical. So using something like Surfer SEO or POP. Both great things to optimize content. They're going to scan like the top 10 websites in a particular SERP and then give you detailed information on length, article length, keyword density, things like that that you can write off of, and then make sure that the content is optimized right out of the gate. You've got a very strong foundation in comparison to all your competitors, so that when you get it up there and you're sending links at it, you know it's not being wasted. It is optimized to what the algorithm actually wants to see there. So especially in relevance to SEO, it is important to write to your audience. But remember that part of your audience, and especially as an SEO, one of the biggest parts of the audience is these robots that are mathematically digesting this content. So optimize using some sort of platform like, again, Surfer or Pop.
Sir. And then of course you're going to make sure you do, all your on-page SEO correctly. Most important things are your URL, having keywords in your URL, your H1, your title tag, your H2s even. But yeah, I mean, really, this is too big of a question for a live stream thing. But there's a bunch of good guides on how to do good SEO content. The thing about content is it's the easy part of SEO. Um, it's pretty much figured out at this point. It's not, everyone knows how to write good content. You basically cover the topic fully and do basic on page. So that's the good news. So yeah, it's a bunch of good stuff. I think we even have stuff on our website or other videos on our channel you can look up for this as well. So apologies if it's not the super in-depth answer you need, but this would be like probably a 10,000 word blog post, right?
Well, and also now that you're mentioning that, don't forget to, especially in recent times, it's become more important to write from a first person perspective and give the audience something kind of new,
True.
not just regurgitating the same crap that you see in every other article in the SERPs. Doing these kinds of things is going to give you more longevity in the SERPs and then help you beat out some competition as well.
Yeah, look up EAT, EEAT, add in your expertise, your authority. If you're doing AI, you better edit that stuff. Make sure it's not super generic and actually reads well. It's not just repeating
Mhm.
itself. And yeah. All right. Um, see what we got next.
Surrender, just real quick, so we don't. He said he's in the adult niche, so it's difficult to get links, and that's why he's building 50 websites. Well, if it's difficult to get links, it's going to be even more difficult to get
Links
enough
for all
links
the sites. Yeah,
for all 50 sites. So
it's not worth
just
it.
focus on one site. Yeah.
Uh, sorry, I missed that one. Yeah, surrender. You're trying to build a PBN without like the point when you build a PBN, you want to use expired domains because you're basically getting the backlinks on an extreme discount because you're buying a domain for very cheap that already has, 50 referring domains, 100 referring domains to it. So you're getting all of their backlinks that are
He
already pointing to that site. Huh?
he said they're all brand new websites with no
Yeah, I know.
backlinks.
That's what I'm
Got it.
saying. Like if you're
Oh,
by buying these new websites, you're missing out on that. You would
oh,
have to build links to all of those websites, which would defeat the whole purpose of a
yeah.
PBN, which is to get links on the cheap, on a discount. That's
Well,
why
I think these are
PBNs
all
are,
money sites is the thing. I'm like,
yeah,
you'll never,
do that either.
there's, yeah, no chance. Yeah, but both.
Just focus on
Yeah,
one,
reassess.
use all your budget building links to that. Don't worry about trying to do any tricky stuff with 50 websites. Gabe says, thank you guys, really solid. You're welcome, sir. Surrender waving
I feel like we should give Super Sloth like a little
a
like pop
badge.
up. Like, he could like, it's just a sloth pops up with what he says because they're like funny little, it's good. He's good.
Rethink it, porn bro. All right.
Sage advice.
How to master on YouTube SEO. So I think I can kind of answer this one, even though traditionally we're not really YouTubers, we're more SEOs. But I've been getting a little bit more into YouTube lately. And the thing about YouTube is it's incredibly simple, but it's going to be most people are not going to take the time to do it because it's hard in its own way. So the simple things that you need to do are A, have a good thumbnail, the picture that people look at when they are going to click the video, have a good thumbnail that makes people interested in it. B, have a good title. Um, you can try to use some keywords in the title, but you don't really want to do it like on-page SEO. You want to do it more like trying to get people interested in clicking through. So you don't want to really give it all away like in the title. Like you don't want to make it something boring like how to do on-page SEO. It'd be more like the on-page mistakes that are killing your SEO or something like that, right? Something that makes them really want to click it. And then from there, in your like video description, I just have a little description in there that uses some of the keywords in it. You could do like your tags. I don't think tags are like super important. That's just like uh, you know, beneath the description, you tag stuff like, SEO, digital marketing, link building, whatever the video is about. Not super important. The most important thing for YouTube SEO is making a video that people like. That's literally it. So you want to in the beginning you want to basically do what they call like a hook, is getting people engaged and want to get them to keep watching. So you say something like very interesting. So today we're going to be talking about YouTube SEO, and if you aren't doing these things, you're going to fucking fail, like blah blah blah, something like that, right? So you just get them super interested, and then you just get into it. You don't waste their time. Every second of the YouTube video should have some kind of purpose. You're not just droning on, or else people are going to stop watching. If people stop watching, YouTube doesn't like that. They want people watching as much as your video as possible. So the better the video you make, the better the video is going to do. The more people that watch the video and actually watch through the whole thing, they're just going to start showing it to more people. And so, it's not so much about like SEO or something. It's literally just about doing the very basics, getting people interested in watching the video, getting a little keyword in there every now and then, and then just making a good video. But I'm not like a super like YouTube expert on how to make good videos. So you can watch a bunch of videos on how to do like hooks and just how to retain them throughout the video. You can even like keep saying stuff like, but make sure you watch to the end because we're going to talk about this other super important thing later, stuff like that. So just try to really get them like watch to the end, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, most important thing is just making something that people like to watch and they'll keep watching it. Um, yeah. Do you got anything on that, Nick?
Yeah. So, still look at best practices for optimizing YouTube content as well, linking to relevant sources, things like that. And then, of course, once you've got everything prepped up and ready, don't forget you can still send backlinks to your videos to get them moving up in the SERPs. So, once everything that Chris has talked about is all said and done, you've worked real
Google
hard at your
serves.
content, start doing the exact same thing that we do over at SirLinksAlot to websites, etc. Give them relevance and power. And remember, every time you add a link, what you're doing is you're adding crawlability to that particular asset. So whether that's a website, a YouTube video, a YouTube channel, etc., you're not missing by doing that.
All right. Surfer Auto Optimizer Special. I don't think I've used the Auto Optimizer yet.
Me either. And given the sites that I was doing any kind of AI on previously, I've stopped. I've stopped even just human edited AI content. Like I don't even mess with it anymore.
You're afraid?
All in-house content writers. No more, no more AI for right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the experiments all failed for me. I don't know about other people, but I'm going back to the
What kind
basics.
of sites were they on? Was it like
Affiliate style sites for the
affiliate?
most part. Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't even have to do
Granted,
with AI content at that point. It's
it,
just like
yeah, maybe not. But it's
it being
just like
affiliate.
the whole setup in comparison to other websites I've been working on where it's all natural. And we're talking national or local. Nope, back to all
Back
human
to
work.
basics.
Hmm.
What links would you recommend for a firearm e-commerce store?
Ooh.
It's the same. Nick has some experience here. It's the same for everything, man. Basically, you want to do your foundational link building, which is stuff like we call them pillow links. There's a many different kinds of pillow links or foundational links, whatever you want to call them. Stuff like citations, social profiles. You can do like Web 2.0s. You can do stuff like press releases. You can do stuff like directories, forum comments, blog comments. All this stuff we consider pillow links. They're stuff that anyone can do. They're free to do, and if you have the time, they're just you go and just do it. You don't have to like communicate with anyone, send emails. You don't have to negotiate. It's easy. That's foundational link building. After that, you're going to move on to the powerful stuff, the stuff that takes a lot more time, money, and effort to do, which is guest posts. And then you have link insertions, which are pretty much the same thing as a guest post, just going into existing articles instead of a new article on the other website. You could also do some stuff like Haro if you wanted to, which is can be a pretty like hit or miss, and you got to pay for it now. Um, you could also do stuff like PR link building, which is very expensive, but you can get links from really good sites, but very expensive. Um, so yeah, most people, for most people, I just recommend, link guest posts and link insertions. You can also do like PBN links, but we like keeping those like less than 5% of our backlink profile. So for most people, it's literally just guest posts and link insertions. Um, for pretty much all that you're going to need, which is essentially doing outreach to other people that have blogs in your industry or that post content in your industry, and trying to negotiate getting a link on their website. You can either do this yourself, or you can go to an agency like us over at sirlinksalotseoroundtable. Either way, the trade-off is basically time versus money. Of course, if you do it yourself, it's going to be a lot cheaper, but uh, the reason that companies like us exist is because doing this process of outreach, reaching out to hundreds and thousands of different websites is extremely time consuming and people hate it. And probably is like the most hated part of SEO, right? No, like literally
Yes.
no one likes link building. We're link builders and we don't like link building. Like everyone hates link building. Um, so anyway, anything out on that one, Nick?
Um, just one last thing is you can always go look at your competition and make sure, you're kind of emulating what they're doing. I know in that industry, one of the bigger, they're not in e-commerce, or actually they might have some e-commerce, but I remember when I was doing it, Pew Pew Tactical was one of the bigger ones as far as affiliates go. You can go dissect a bunch of websites like that, see what they've got going on, but ultimately, my advice would be build like you would to any other website and then find a link provider, even if it's not us, somebody else that's of high quality and, purchase those high quality links because it is a competitive niche, there's big money to be made over there.
True. All right. Black Cloth, Black
Dude,
Hole
he's
says thumbnail picture with a surprise face. Yep. My cyborg stuff is
cyborg.
still ranking lovely on ecom.
Of
You're
course
you're
he's got a
selling
cyborg site.
you're selling
Hell
some
yeah.
cyborgs. That's cool.
Do
Affiliate
you have
sites are
like
dead. A lot of
chips
them are.
that'll
That's for sure.
turn your computer on, stuff like that?
I hope
I
so.
started rewatching Silicon Valley and there was one where they had
It's a
a
good show.
cyborg guy on, yeah.
All right, guys. We've got like a couple minutes left. If you've got any questions at all, go ahead and pop them in the chat, or else we're going to be taking off really soon. Doesn't matter if you think it's a stupid question or a hard question. Just go ahead and drop it in there. Could I find a competitor sitemap and use that as a guide for building my topical map? Absolutely. This is like how I start every single SEO project I do. Like the thing is, unless you're going into something like super low competition, which I normally don't do, just because it's hard to find these things, and I I generally am just not going into things that have been like undiscovered, right? And so it's actually I would consider it negligent if you did not start like this. Like if you think about it like as far as like what a company is doing, like a company needs to be spending its time and resources as efficiently as possible. And the fact of the matter is that if you're entering into pretty much any niche out there, people have already done a lot of this keyword research for you. And so by not doing it, you're essentially just like, it's like, hey, I'm gonna get into boxing, but I'm gonna like fight with one arm behind my back because this is more like honorable or something. Like you're not stealing these people content by doing this. It's completely public. Like whenever any kind of business enters any kind of market, they always do competitor research to figure out like how things are working. And it's no different with SEO. This is competitor research. You can go look at a bunch of the people that have good examples of websites in your industry, grab all of their topical maps. You can pop in Ahrefs, of course, would make things a lot quicker because you can see which ones are generating like good traffic and stuff. And then you can start replicating, you can start writing articles on these same keywords, whatever the main keyword for that article is. Um, Absolutely, hands down, my favorite way of doing keyword research. And on some projects, it's the only thing I do for quote keyword research or topical map generation. Of course, in a perfect world, you'd have more time and resources, and you'd eventually go above and beyond just what all your competitors have. And there's a bunch of other ways, things that you could get into, but we've got more YouTube videos on that. But absolutely, hands down, my favorite way of doing a topical map or starting like keyword research or knowing what articles need to be written. What do you got, Nick?
No, I mean, you hit it all. That's correct. Oh, well, I guess the only thing would be, if you are taking content map ideas from your competitors, just make sure you're doing something a little bit better, giving it something a little extra, right? As you're building out this content just to stand out a bit more. Again, as mentioned earlier, that can be first person views on a subject, things like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying to just copy their articles, but essentially you copy the keyword that the article is
Yeah,
about, their main keyword. So they give you all of the articles that you need to write, right?
yeah.
Especially if you gather up, more than just one competitor, two, three, four, five different competitors, you're gonna have a huge list of articles there that are already ranking, pulling in traffic. You know that they're writing them because they're the more important ones that need to be written already. They've already spent all this time doing that. But then, like Nick said, when you do your article, definitely don't want to just be copying them. I'm not going to say you can't get away with it, but in today's day and age with how AI works and everything just being very generic and kind of rehashing what is already out there, you kind of want to stay away from this and focusing on adding in that firsthand experience, that expertise, information gain, if you want to call it that. Just making your thing unique and a little bit different than the others while still covering the topic fully. And you can get help with something like Surfer or Neuron or Pop for that. Not your average YouTube watcher says huge thanks. You are
You
very
bet.
welcome, sir.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you guys enjoy the show.
Um,
I see there's only one like on the video and I put it
One
there. I
like,
mean,
oh come on,
come on,
jeez, y'all
people.
stingy with that click button. All right.
We're not even charging for this.
Hey, it says 3 likes for me. All right, guys.
Oh.
We're gonna go ahead and take off. Hopefully, we answered your questions sufficiently. We're probably not going to be on stream next week. I'm gonna be heading back to the United States on Sunday, and I'm probably gonna be
Oh,
jet lagged AF, but we should have enough videos to be coming out without the live stream to keep you guys entertained for a bit. So yeah, might not be on
per
next
usual,
week,
find us
or
in the
maybe
group.